So this video is going to be encouragement for you to create your own daily practice. A few suggestions before we get started. First of all, you want to have your props, block, blanket, strap, maybe even a chair if that helps you make modifications. And once you have all your things together, come on back. So the first thing I suggest is that you decide what you want to get out of your practice. So maybe that's better balance or more flexibility or just a time to quiet your mind and pay attention to your breath. Decide what you want out of your practice. And then remove the distractions. So get rid of your phone or decide not to answer the doorbell, turn the television off, whatever works for you to get rid of those temptations and distractions so that you can actually stick with your practice for 15, 20 minutes. And then create a routine. So maybe do it first thing in the morning or right before you have lunch or before dinner or before bedtime, preferably not on a full stomach. So here we go. One of the things I love about yoga is the opportunity to observe how you feel before you start and how you feel after. So the first thing we're going to do before really any spinal warming is just to come into a tree pose. So holding onto the wall of the chair, just go ahead and get right into whatever tree pose you can, right? So using your focus, something that's not moving. Just take a breath or two in your tree pose. So we'll let that go. Maybe shift your body weight a little bit. And then when you're ready, try the other side. See how this feels. Might be completely different on this side. A couple breaths here. And then let that go. Just kind of make a mental note of how that was. Difficulty, were you stable? Do you feel kind of tight? And then we're going to get into our practice. So I'm going to come down on the floor safely. All right, one leg way back in high lunge. I'm going to float that back knee down, come to all fours. So we're going to start this practice in all fours. I invite you for a few moments to push your thumbs into the mat, draw your upper arms together, and feel one long line from back and neck out through the crown of the head, the tailbone. Answer that question again. What do you want out of your practice? And then make it happen. So inhale deeply. Stick with your breath. On an exhale, hollow out that cat shape. Maybe it would feel good to wag your tail a little bit. Then on inhale, maybe you just come to neutral. Or if it feels safe for your spine, you gently arch, tailbone, crown of the head up. So just keep doing that, hollowing out, coming to neutral. So remember, you're your own best teacher, or maybe you arch. It's not too soon to give yourself that mental pat on the back for showing up and committing to be here. Gently arch again, hollow out. And then come on back to neutral. Take one leg straight out behind you, and then the opposite thumb in the air. And on an exhale, bring the knee to the elbow. Maybe you hollow out. Let the head drop. And then again, arm and leg out, and knee in. One more time, arm and leg out. So even here, using your breath and your focus, nice and steady, helping you balance. And then come on back to all fours. Maybe wag your tail again a little bit. And then inhale, take the other leg out, opposite thumb to the ceiling. Get long and then move with the breath. Exhale, knee to elbow. And inhale, get long, arm and leg out. And exhale, knee to elbow. And then inhale. One more time, leg and arm out. Knee to elbow. And then come on back to neutral. Wag your tail again. Good. And then walk your hands about one hand length forward so that we can inhale, shoulders right over the wrists. Modified plank. or maybe the top of a push-up plank. Few breaths here. Again, that one long line from the heels out through the crown of the head. Squeeze your upper arms together. Pull that low belly in. And then exhaling, slowly float the knees down and rock yourself back to a child's pose if this works for you. So remember, you could stick a block between your hips and your heels for support. You could wag your tail again a little bit. Maybe your head floats all the way down to the mat. So you have options here. You could keep the arms really active, lengthening the side bodies, or you can relax completely. Good. And pull that low belly in. Bring your shoulders back over your wrists. Squeeze your elbows in and exhale, chaturanga down. Hopefully chest and chin comes down last, then the hips. And then plant your feet. Tops of the feet pushing into the mat. We're going to make some space by taking our elbows forward and wider than the edges of the mat. 3 easy cobras here. Tuck your tailbone, inhale, gently arch. And exhaling, forehead to the mat. Inhale, arch. And exhale, forehead to the mat. Super strong legs. Inhale, gently arch. And exhale, forehead to the mat. Then reverse your push-up. Knees or toes through plank. And then find downward facing dog and go ahead and walk your dog. Bending one leg and then the other. Good. And then inhale, lift your thumbs. Exhale, soften your knees and either walk your hands to meet your feet or your feet to meet your hands. And right away, we're going to sit down into a chair pose. So my weight's in my heels, spine nice and long. I'm going to twist to one side. Maybe the elbow comes to the outside of the thigh. Keep your knees in line. Nice, easy twist. Warm up those quads. And exhale, you release that. Inhale, make the spine long again. Tuck that low belly, and then twist to the second side. Release that. Sweep your arms up in the air. Then lengthen your legs, coming to Tadasana. Check in with your feet, about 2 fists width apart. And bring your hands together over your head and release your fingers. Turn sideways. So get nice and tall. And then exhale to one side. Inhale through center, straight to the side. Exhale to the other. Get that nice side body stretch. Do that a couple more times. And last set. Good, come on back up. And exhale your hands to your heart. Now we're going to do some sun salutations in the classical modified version. All right. So release your hands down, palms facing forward. Roll your shoulders up towards your ears and then back and down. And then use those back muscles to inhale your arms up overhead. And soften your knees slightly, protect your low back, swan dive forward, let your head hang if you can. Then inhale, half forward fold. Soften the knees, take one leg back. Doesn't matter which one because we're going to do both sides, but maybe you take your left leg back first. Turn the heel down and inward and find your warrior 2. Gaze over your front fingertips. And then windmill yourself back to the top of the mat. Float that back knee down. You can release that back foot, inhaling. Arms up, low crescent lunge. Exhaling, hands to the mat. Inhaling, find the top of your push-up, modified or not. And exhale, chest and chin to the mat. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale to cobra. Exhaling, forehead to the mat. Reverse your push-up through plank, and then find downward facing dog. So that leg that you took back in warrior 2, lift it up in the air and pull the knee into the chest. Float the back knee down. Inhale, arms up, low crescent. Exhaling, hands to the mat, curl the back toes under. Inhaling all the way, a half forward fold, reach the crown of the head out long. Exhale, let your body hang. Then reverse your dive, arms up in the air. And exhale your hands to your heart. So second side, inhaling, arms up. I just turn around so that I don't have my back to you. Exhaling, soften your knees, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Soften again, back. Maybe your right leg way back in high lunge this time. Finding your warrior two. Heel to arch. Take a breath. And then windmill yourself back around to the top of the mat. Finish your flow. Plank. Chaturanga down. Inhaling, cobra. Exhale, forehead to the mat. Reverse your push-up and find downward facing dog. Big exhale here. Then that second leg goes up in the air. Pulling the knee toward the chest. Find your low crescent lunge, let the top foot relax, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands to the mat, curl the back toes under. Inhaling, half forward fold. Exhaling, hang. Reverse your dive, arms up in the air. And exhale your hands to your heart. Take a breath. Might be feeling a little bit aerobic. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to go to my first side, inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, gently dive, let your head hang. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhaling, left leg, first leg way back in high lunge again. Find your warrior two. Take a breath. Then extended side angle. Come through warrior two. Reverse warrior. Draw that line up the ceiling. And then windmill back around again. Top of the push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga down. Inhaling, cobra. Maybe you're ready for an up dog or a modified up dog. Forehead back to the mat. Then push away. Downward facing dog. Lift that leg up in the air again. First leg, maybe left leg. Pull the knee into the chest. Hover here. Maybe tap the left elbow. Tap the right elbow. Come back to center. Plant your foot. This time, we're going to come to revolve triangle. So walk that back foot in just a little bit. Maybe take it out to the side. So you have space down the middle of your mat. Back toes pointing diagonally. Right? So lengthen your spine as you bring your shoulders over your hips. Right? Then sweep your arms up and straighten the front leg. And bring your hands to your hips. Right? So we fold straight forward. The goal is to keep this front leg straight if you can. And then from the waist, twist toward that front leg. Maybe you rest your hand on your back today. So remember, you don't have to do any of this. You don't have to flow. You can hold a pose. One more breath. Exhaling, soften that front knee. Bring your hands back to your hips, lift your back heel, and safely bring yourself right back to Tadasana. And release your arms. Second side, inhaling, arms up. Soften your knees, gently fold forward. Make sure you're getting what you want out of your practice. Inhaling, half forward fold. From here we go to warrior two. All right. Just a breath. Then find your extended side angle. And then come back through warrior two to reverse warrior. And then windmill yourself to flow. Top of a push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Do it with good form. Inhaling, cobra. Maybe up dog. Exhaling, forehead back to the mat. Inhaling, push away. And find downward facing dog. Then right leg goes up in the air, second side. Pull the knee toward the chest. Tap the opposite elbow. Tap the same elbow.
hover, and then plant that front foot, setting up for warrior one legs, right? So back foot comes in slightly, make more space, turn the toes out, then lengthen your spine as you bring your shoulders over your hips. All right? If this bothers your back knee, you could lift the heel, right? Arms go overhead and straighten that front leg. Hips pointing right forward. Get tall, and then exhale. Fold from the hips. And from the waist, twist toward that front leg. You just keep your hand on that nice flat pelvis. Breathe. Good, then exhale, release the twist, soften the front knee, bring the back leg to meet the front, right back to Tadasana, and exhale your hands to your heart. So let's check in with that tree pose again, right? Gotten warm and gotten moving. So first leg. See how this goes. Maybe you grow your tree this time. And exhaling, release. Nice and quietly shift to the other side. See how this feels. And exhaling, gently release. Nice. So we're going to bring ourselves down to the floor. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Soften your knees and gently dive forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhaling, jump, or take that one big step. Just get yourself to the ground safely. And top of a push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. And take a moment to make a pillow for your head with your hands. We'll do a little bit of back care here. So squeeze your inner thighs together and then lift your heels. Keep your legs nice and long. Then raise your shoulders so you can get your hands underneath your shoulders. And then lift the hands so they hover. Then scissor your legs open and exhale, close. Just look down at the front of your mat. Scissor your legs open, back body long, exhale, close. Elbows pulling into the ribs, open and close. Scissor open and close. And make that pillow for your head with your hands. Rock your hips a little bit from side to side. And then come back to stillness. We're going to do that one more time. Squeeze the legs together. Inhale, tuck the tailbone, but raise the backs of the knees. So my legs are still straight. Then you're going to raise your shoulders so you can tuck your hands under. Let your hands hover. Scissor open and close. 4 more times. And 2 more. Last one. And make that pillow for your head with your hands again. This time bend your knees. And windshield wipe your feet from side to side. So we want to relax our legs a little bit. Just point your toes and pretend like you're flutter kicking in a pool. Just tapping those feet. A few times. And then let them go. Bend your knees again. Take them from side to side. Windshield wiper. So we're going to stretch one quadricep front of the side, front of the thigh. All right, so maybe you grab hold of a tie if you can't hold your feet. So reach for one leg. Then level your shoulders. Keep the heel in line with the hip so you don't let the leg flop sideways. That'll actually shorten your outer quads. You could rest your head in your fist. A few breaths here. Gently release. Do whatever shifting, wiggling you need to get ready to go to the other side. Several breaths here. And release. So we might want to make this interesting by doing full bow pose, grabbing both feet. Do whatever pose interests you now. If this isn't it, find something else. We're going to start to push our feet into our hands, raise our thighs up. Maybe just gazing at the front edge of your mat. Another breath. And exhaling, gently release. Maybe you let your hands stay by your hips, your legs relax. Turn your nose to one side. If this is hard on your neck, take the hand that your nose is facing and tuck it under your shoulder for some support. And then gently lift your head and turn to the other side. Then gently lift your head. Bring your hands under your shoulders. One last chaturanga. Reverse your push-up. Pull your low belly in. Rock your hips, wagging your tail as you bring yourself to child's pose. So slowly and gently, we go from those back bends to the forward fold. Take your time. Two more deep breaths. Then come to all fours. Shift your feet to one side so you can come onto one hip. And then take your feet forward in Dandasana, seated staff pose. And then decide what it is your body wants to do for a final pose. Maybe it's an inversion, maybe it's bridge pose, maybe it's shoulder stand, maybe it's reclined Baddha Konasana bound angle, happy baby. There's so many options. So you decide. I think I'm going with happy baby. So I'm going to stick my elbows on the inner thighs. Then I'm going to find my outer feet with my hands and take my heels to the ceiling so that my shins are now parallel to one another. So just getting into the hip flexor. Maybe you want to rock a little bit or straighten your legs. Again, pick a pose. Finish up your practice however feels right for you. And then when you've had enough, settle into Shavasana. Corpse pose, the most important pose of all. Support your knees, keep your feet flat, or stretch yourself completely out. Let the toes flop open. Wherever you are, tuck your shoulder blades together. Take a few moments to enjoy the stillness. Having connected to your body and your breath. Nothing to do until you hear my voice again. then begin to get yourself moving with some small motions, maybe fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, maybe a couple more breaths in stillness. Or maybe making the motions bigger, maybe a big morning stretch. Eventually drawing the knees into the chest. Rolling to one side, safely using that top arm to push yourself up to seated. So close your eyes, sit up tall. I encourage you to keep finding what you want out of your practice and creating a routine. If you miss a day or you get a little bit distracted, don't beat yourself up, just forgive yourself and get back on the mat. I quote a songwriter artist, Morgan Harper Nichols, who says that one day you will look back and see that all along you were blooming. On inhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Exhaling, bow your head, your heart, for doing the good work that's making you your best self for others. The Spirit in me honors the Spirit in you. Thanks for practicing with me. Namaste.